The pricing on market-linked notes, which include principal-protected notes, is different from that of traditional investments on your brokerage statement. That's why it's so important to obtain a clear view into how the value will be reported on your statement at various times during which you hold the investment. Both principal-protected and market-linked notes are intended to be held until maturity. Your returns at maturity are dependent upon the type of note you invested in and the terms outlined in the specific offering documents. While the statement value reflects an estimate of the current market value of the note, it does not affect your return at maturity and should not be considered an exact valuation of what you will receive at maturity. The investment's reported value may fluctuate from statement to statement depending on a variety of factors. For example, a downgrade to an issuer's credit rating, a hike in interest rates, a decline in the performance of the underlying asset, or an increase in market volatility could negatively impact the value of your market-linked note. If these factors were to move in the opposite direction, the value could be positively impacted. Let's take a look at a few examples. Say you invested $100,000 in a market-linked note, or possibly a principal-protected note linked to an equity index. Let's also assume the value on the initial statement shows $95,000. When you see that initial statement, you may wonder, why is the value of my note less than what I invested? Most likely, the initial statement will be lower than the amount invested. This could be due to multiple factors, including upfront fees relating to compensation and issuing and distribution fees. If the underlying asset has a negative return at maturity, a principal-protected note will return the full principal amount, subject to the credit risk of the issuer. In this example, that means your minimum value at maturity will still be $100,000. With market-linked notes, some of your principal may be protected against losses at maturity, but some or all of your principal could be at risk depending on the terms of the offering or if the issuer defaults on its payment obligations. Now let's look at two scenarios halfway through the life of that same 5-year market-linked note. If the reported value is down further, largely because the underlying asset's performance has declined, you may be concerned. For principal-protected notes, it's vital to remember that the minimum value at maturity is still equal to your initial investment subject to the credit risk of the issuer. For other market-linked notes, to determine the payout at maturity, you should refer to the terms in the offering documents. If the reported value for any market-linked note is above the initial principal level, you should be aware that the value can still swing in either direction prior to maturity.